of more complicated shapes. I like how I said that. I know the title says volume of pyramids and cones, but I want to demystify how complicated these are actually for you. And you might have seen this before actually. The diagram below shows a cylinder and a cone with the same diameter and height. In the picture, those are the same size, except one's a cylinder and one's a cone. Now, there's a lot of mysterious things about this universe, weirdly designed. Pythagorean theorem was one of them. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Wow! That's amazing it works out that way. This one's better. It's shocking. When you look at that, I don't know anybody who can picture it. But as it turns out, the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. It's unbelievable. I don't know any way to make that fit in there in my brain that it works. But it's not just sort of 1/3. It's exactly 1/3. And it's been mathematically proven too. There's a way using advanced calculus to prove this is true. But all you got to know is, oh, if it's a cone, it's 1/3 of that thing. That's all you got to know. In fact, that's all you got to know through grade 9, 10, 11, and most of grade 12. You just know it's 1/3. Works out. And it works for pyramids as well, but I'll do that in a second. So, find the volume of the cylinder and the cone below. Here's what we did yesterday. Cylinders. Volume of a cylinder. You go to your formula sheet, which you will have for the exam. So you won't have to memorize any formulas in the exam. And you write down the formula. It says pi r squared height. And just in case this is the part you have trouble with, I'm pretty good at these, but as soon as it's the squareds and the pi's and everything like that, that's when I get confused. Well, let me walk through this. What's pi? 3.14. Now, your calculator has a pi button, and you're welcome to use it, but you don't have to. You can just use 3.14 in this class. We don't need to get that accurate. The pi button would be a little more accurate. Now, the radius. Well, now we need somebody who's paying attention or really knows what's happening, because the radius isn't given in the picture. You need to be able to figure it out from the picture. What is it? 4. The diameter's 8, the radius is 4. And I need to tell you that actually, grade 8, grade 9 kids, that's one of the problems they have, is they're too quick to just put the numbers in and not look and go, wait a minute, I want radius. And that's 4. I've got to square that. And then the height, hopefully you can just see there is 15. This is all multiply. Those numbers are side by side, so I got to multiply those all together. Now you've got a squared button on your calculator, and you can use it. You could right now hit pi times 4 squared times 15. But if that causes you any trouble, all we're saying is take 3.14, multiply it by 4, multiply it by 4 again, and then multiply by 15. Do yourself a favor and type that into your calculator right now to make sure you're good at typing these things in. Because if you are good at typing it in, I think you're going to find that volume questions are very nice. You write down the formula, you plug in the numbers, and you multiply them out. Pretty nice stuff. I get 753.6 when I use 3.14. If you use the pi button, you might get, let's see how much difference it is, times 4 times 4 times 15. You'd get 753.9. 98, yeah? Slightly different. I'm ready, don't worry. If you use the pi button, I'll know what you did. I'll know the answer, it's fine. But if it's just a little bit off because you used the pi button from what the answer sheet says, don't let that freak you out. 753.6 what? Centimeters cubed because it's volume. Don't underestimate how good you're getting at math if you knew that was centimeters cubed. That was, for a lot of grade 9 classes, that question is pretty difficult in grade 9, actually. It's a challenging little thing. But since you've seen it before, and now you're a little older, a little wiser, things are good. Now let me show you this. To do the cone, all you do is take 753.6 and divide it by 3. You do all the same stuff. It's just when you're done, you divide by 3. A mystery of the universe. I can't explain it. I can't tell you, oh, well, here's what you do. You take 3 different cones, you put them together like this and see it makes a cylinder. It doesn't really work like that, but somehow this universe, that's the way it works out. Cones are 1/3 of the cylinder. If I had a cone of water and I just poured it into the cylinder, if I did it 3 times, it would fill it up perfectly. Perfectly. Shocking. Unbelievable. Anyways, when I take 753.6 and divide it by 3, I get 251.2. That's the first of the difficult things today. And if you look at that and go, so you just divide by 3? That's not too hard. Yeah, I came today. One of the things I needed to come to tell you today is when you're doing cones and pyramids, you just divide by 3. You did the wrong. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And your answers will be slightly different. You probably got 0.3 for this one or something like that? Yeah, good. That's fine. Totally fine. Questions? Yes. Questions? Mr. Todd. Yes, ma'am. Are we still discussing marriage over here and responsibilities?
Yeah.
Okay. Second example, very similar. Very similar example. The diagram below shows a rectangular prism and a square-based prism, both with the same base length and height. The volume of a square-based pyramid is 1/3. Pyramids are 1/3. Weird. Totally weird. I don't know if the Egyptians knew this, that it's 1/3 of the volume. I don't know. It's just a mysterious thing about the universe. That's exactly 3. Not kinda, not sorta, exactly 3. So it says find the volume of the rectangular prism and square-based pyramid shown below. 1/3. 1/3. Sorry, is it my writing?
No, it was just like the cursor was like.
Oh, good. So, volume of a rectangular prism. Does anybody know the formula without looking for a rectangular prism? Base times height times width. Because it's not a triangle, the triangles are the ones that have half in them. This is just length, width, height. And if you wrote base, width, height, it doesn't matter. Rectangular prisms are very friendly. You just multiply the 3 sides together to get the volume. So here it's volume equals 25. Oh, wait, now I'm confused. It says 25 there. It didn't give me a third measurement. What's the third measurement? 25. It's 25 again. Do you see these little lines? We use those in math sometimes to say those are the same. So this is actually a square-based rectangular pyramid. So it's 25 times 25 times 20. Take a second and jam that into your calculator. I'm trying to do it in my head. How did I do? 12,500 centimeters cubed. It's shocking how big these numbers become in a hurry. But over here, I've got the exact same thing but a pyramid. What do you do when you have to do a pyramid? Not half. Close though. Third. So here you go, volume equals 12,500, but you divide it by 3. And I get 4133.3, I think. Who's got their calculator to see if Mr. Todd is any good? Oh, it's wrong. It's 167, isn't it? Oh, jeez. Maybe I am getting old. 166.7. 4166.7? Yeah. I know it's 6s, but I rounded it to 7. Yeah. So the volume of any prism can be found using area of base times height. And the pyramid can be 1/3 the volume of the prism. You can just do 1/3 of that. Now, if you're a little better at these, and you just like using the volume of the cone and just having divided by 3 in there, that's fine. Which one? This says, oh, the bottom one? I'll write it bigger. 1/3 volume of the prism. So you find the volume of the prism, and you go 1/3 of that. Or maybe what I was doing, I just took the volume of the prism and divided it by 3. Yeah? So you're just dividing by 3 when you're doing cylinders and cones. Sorry, not cylinders and cones. Pyramids and cones. Do you have questions there? Your questions for that are at the end of your pages. For now, I'm going to do a couple of problem-solving ones. I'll do 1 or 2. I'm not going to do 3, and I'll tell you when I get to 3 why I'm not going to do it. I'll tell you in a second. We now switch over to these. Is that what you have on your next page? Yeah. A couple of, what do these look like? Silos? Back to the last one for a second. Do you know what a silo is, city people? Yeah? They store grain or corn, or something called silage, which is a mix of chopped up corn stalks and corn and stuff like that, and they just pile it all up in there to feed the cows in the winter. You should care, unless you're a vegetarian. Because if you like hamburgers and steak, you really care about silos, because this is what they're using to store the food for the cows in the winter, so you can have a hamburger on Friday night.
You're moving too fast. No, on the
Do you know how far we've come? Do you remember the lessons in September? Oh my goodness.
We were all on our phones talking.
Not copying, yeah. It was wild. It was a wild scene. You've grown up a lot. I congratulate you. It sounds like I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. We've done well. We've done well this semester. Sorry, I'm distracting you. That's why it's my fault. I'll shut up.
You handed out our midterms or our progress report and you told me that I looked mean and then I glared at you.
You did. No, I don't think you're unhappy with me. I maybe looking back, maybe you're unhappy about being here.
I still am.
Yeah,
I hate it.
and it took a while for us to. It took a while for you and I to. Yeah. What's the word over here? We good? I'm doing 1 and 2 with you. These volume questions are question. Yeah. Yes. Area of base times height. That's right. I'm not adding anything. I'm just writing when you're going to get your exam review, and you will get it tomorrow. You'll have it. You can start on it. Scalbo, are we good? I don't want to give anything away. No, I will give something away. There's one of these and you're culminating. One just like this. So if you're going to take some notes, here's the time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 1A, but I'm not going to do 1B, so you can take a shot at it, okay? If you were, what shapes do you see involved here? There's 2 shapes involved here. What are they? Cylinder and a half sphere. So first, volume cylinder. I don't want to upset you, but this is what we do when we're doing volume of different shapes. We write something called subscript. We just write underneath there, right beside it, what we're doing. We're doing volume of cylinder. And we look up that formula, which is pi r squared times height. I'm going to do the volume of the cylinder. Then I'm going to do volume sphere. Incidentally, some people will do this. Instead of writing sphere, they'll draw a little sphere. You don't have to do that, though, if you don't want to. And that one is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. I'm making a mistake here. You can catch it in a minute, and I'll fix it afterwards. Oh, I like it. Yeah, good. Even that's progress, right? Used to look out, people asleep everywhere. Now you're like, I got to stand up and fall asleep here. I want to hear this. Do you have a question? No? Okay. So, pi, no, 3.14. I'm worried that there's the odd one of you that still isn't sure what pi is, so I'm going to write it every time. 3.14. What's the radius of that cylinder? 6.3, yes. It's the perfect answer, 6.3. And no, it is. I'm not even joking. That's the way your brain should go with these. It's like 6. Oh, wait, that's the diameter. 3. And then the height of just the cylinder is 10. So I put that in. 3.14, and I'll get another calculator because somebody stole mine. You type it in, too, to make sure you know how to type these in. You don't want to get this all correct, and just because you didn't know how to type it in, you didn't get the right answer. I get 282.6. Anyone else get 282.6? Good? Now the sphere. 4 times 3.14. Radius is still 3, but then I got to divide it by 3. What's that? Oh, yeah, meters cubed. Good. Thank you. Good job. Good job. So now, fraction button, 4 times 3.14 times 3 times 3 times 3, and then divide by 3. And I get 113.04. But this is not right. This is like, when I ask this question, if I mark it out of 4 marks, you'll get 2 of the marks for doing what you've done, but there's more to be done. What still has to be done here? Add them together. Yes. Thank you. The circle, he says, which is fine. He's calling it a circle. The sphere has to be cut in half. So actually, volume total, and I encourage you to learn how to use this subscript so you know which volume you're talking about. Little total there. It's called underneath script. You just write small beside it. The total volume is 282.6 plus 113.04, but he caught it. He said, no, only half of the sphere. So I got to divide that by 2 right there. So 282.6 plus 113.04, but divide that by 2, and I get 339.12. Incidentally, due to rounding, sometimes we get slightly different answers. If you round at a different time than I did, somebody might get 339.2, 339.3. You know what I mean? Like, so don't let that distract you when you're checking answers. So one of the most important questions you can do, and this is, many teachers actually do give you some test hints, some culminating hints. You're going to see that thing again. So I left a second one for you to try, which you can compare with my answers. Now, I did an answer sheet last night, but I didn't put it on D2L because nobody asked me. I was pouting. Mike, are they not doing their homework?
Can you put the answer sheet up?
Oh, I will, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, sorry about that. No, you all madly checked.
I checked.
Yeah. So you've got a second one to do there. That's good practice. I'm going to do one more question and then leave the rest of it for you to try and compare. I don't want to change the page till you're ready. Who still needs more time?
No, I got it. I took a picture of it.
Okay. She got her phone out and took a picture of my lesson, so that's good.
I did.
It's not bad.
Take what you can get.
Yeah. Last one for today. What to determine the amount of wax to make the crayon. Can you see the, it's not a very good picture. Can you see the crayon? It's got this part, and then it's got a pointy part. Really pointy. I've never seen a crayon that stayed that pointy. Your question, what shapes do you see? It's not a triangle. It's not a pyramid. Cone. What's the main part of the crayon called? Cylinder. So you look on your formula sheet, cylinders are pi r squared height. Cones are pi r squared height, but it's got a divided by 3 in it. Now, the other examples, I did the cylinder first, and then I divided by 3 at the end. Here I'm going to do it all in one, because that's what the formula sheet shows. But you got your choice. You can say, I'm just going to treat it, I'm going to act like it's a cylinder, and I'll divide by 3 at the end. You can do that. Or you can use the formula, which has the divide by 3 built right into it. So here I go. This one, pi. I can't read it. On your page, can you read it? What does it say? No, the radius. 9. Oh, it's not 9. 4.5. And what's the height of the cylinder? Oh, she said it already, 72. She was a step ahead of me. And this time I didn't write 3.14, I just wrote pi. Because you can do that too. But then you know when you go to your calculator, use the pi button or use 3.14. And I get, you try typing it in to make sure you're good at typing these in. I get 4578. Oops. Doop, doop. 0.12. Now, cone. Pi, 4.5 squared. What's the height of the cone? Thank you. The height of the cone is 12. So that's a different height. Don't forget to divide by 3. Everyone forgets to divide by 3. 3.14 times 4.5 squared times 12, but then divide by 3. And I get 254.34 millimeters cubed. Now these are annoying, folks. When you do these, you do all that work and you go, oh, I remember to divide by 3. I remember to write the units. Then you get it back and you get 3 out of 4. And you're annoyed. You should be annoyed. What's the last step of this question? Just add them together. So when there's multiple shapes, you do 2 shapes, but then at the end you do volume, write a little total there, and you just add these together, 4578.12, 254.34. I'll type it in. .46 millimeters cubed, which seems like a big number for a crayon, but if it was millimeters cubed, it actually is correct. A millimeter cubed is very, very small. Now, one last warning about this chapter. Most people do well on perimeter, area, and volume. So I encourage you to do this homework so you make sure I'm going to be good at those things. Because surface area causes some people some problems. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. But if it's going to cause some problems, then let's make sure we're good at perimeter, area, and volume so that those 3 things go well for you, even if surface area is a little bit of a problem. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow you don't find it too hard, but it is a little bit difficult. Do you have any questions? Do you need more time?